Dispensaries and some hemp companies are lying to the public about percentage. I'm sure this is no surprise to you, as within the last year or two, we've learned even a lot more in the legal market of the shady side of the business. We all knew with hemp being an unregulated market that it was already going to be kind of a shady business to begin with, and obviously you have to traverse very carefully in both of these businesses. I'm here to explain to you why they're lying, how they're lying, and honestly, I don't even know if you can get around it or ever find the truth. What is going on, people of Earth? My name is Chilly Dilly, back at you with another chill ass video, man. And today we got a pretty spicy one. And of course I couldn't do these awesome ass videos, awesome info videos without a sponsor. Shout out to JK Distro, a company I do feel that is telling the truth about percentage, as they have never really had some crazy wide range of percentage, like all just 30%, 40%, all these crazy numbers. I've seen them go as low as 15%. I've seen them go lower, man. They do not care to try every percentage. Because as you guys know, I'm even a big believer that percentage just doesn't always matter. You know what I mean? Like, I've definitely had some 20% that felt like 30. I've had some 15s that felt like 25, and etc. Man, it's all about the terps, the experience, things like that. And of course, you know that we are also going to smoke as well in this video while we talk about this. So shout out to them. We are smoking some Lemon Royale. Let's go ahead and get this lit up and explain to you how exactly they're lying to us. Cheers. So I think if we learned anything from these recent scandals or whatever with, you know, these bigger companies, even in the legal space, that have to go through all these testing things just to find out that they're actually falsifying records and documents and testing things, and there's terrible things in the pens, and obviously it all starts with the flower or whatever. So now that we know that it's probably pretty easy to falsify a test, I don't know how easy it is. I've heard from different companies, different people. That's actually pretty easy, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna leave that at that. Like, I definitely don't implore anybody to explore that, especially if you have a business. But if the legal side is getting away with it, obviously the fucking hemp side is getting away with it. So if they're falsifying testing records, whatever, then that's, you know, that's not really that crazy, right? You probably already thought that. I'm sure some people have already thought that. But like, let's even talk about how accurate is testing, right? So essentially when they go about testing flour, they, from my understanding, they use certain gases to test it, and then they know the percentage for a dry weight basis. So it's not even like, obviously they're picking every little nug and being like, this is X percent, you know, so already you never know with a batch to begin with. One nug could have less percentage, one nug could, you know, whatever. But how accurate even is it to begin with? It's pretty accurate. So like, I was looking into it because I've seen some people be like, oh, it's not that accurate. And while I can definitely say that I can see where they're coming from, as it's not that it's perfect, you know what I mean? Obviously, there have been studies done that they've taken certain companies, you know, like, and if you don't know this, testing is very expensive, by the way. So why maybe some people would cut corners? Just another reason why, or I guess that's a reason why. I don't know. I feel like I just said that backwards. But it would be like they tested the same batch and it would have different percentage, like almost 8% less, sometimes even more. You know what I mean? And like, while some people were like, oh, bro, who's going to complain about that? I am here to remind you that yes, not everybody likes high percentage. Not everybody likes to get super fucking stonied baloneyed. But I do. So cheers to that. And another thing about testing as well is something that I saw that, yes, it's like 89% accurate most of the time. And even what that means is that, like, that doesn't mean that it's gonna like be so much less. It's generally just meaning that it is within a ballpark of, like, let's say that you have a package, like, let's say, what does this say, right? So this says that it is 30%, which is actually pretty fucking high for some of the flour they have, actually. I know they sent two over that did not have that much, so I know it's kind of crazy, but anyway, it says it has 30%, right? So really, when they get the test back, it could have been anywhere from 32 to 28, 27, and they generally like say that the middle is 89% accurate, right? That's just generally the info I could find. And I've even personally worked with some hemp companies that like, they sent me over some product and it was like 34, 35, and I'm like, okay, this is pretty crazy, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not seeing this a lot, and then, you know, you start to see it a lot, and it almost seems like it's just become like overhyped now, or just inflated numbers. I even saw a couple articles saying that just most companies are inflating numbers nowadays just because it's like one of those markets where it seems like it has to keep growing in percentage, but I don't really see it like that because I never really, it's not even really like that in the legal scene. It's more of like who can make the best packaging or whatever. But now with the hemp market, it just really has opened up so much more and so many more reasons, or so much easier reasons for people to lie, because like I said, it's unregulated. So it's not like people are cracking down, you know, on the rules and on that kind of stuff like in legal states. So we're not even getting that, you know, with the hemp shit. So you got to like extra trust. There's really no way to even get around it, like to necessarily, figure it out for yourself, because it's not like there's cheap at-home percentage testing. Yeah, there's just not things like that. It's very expensive to get things tested. So not really worth it in most consumers' eyes. It's going to be way more than what the product was. The only reason you'd be doing it is if you're probably doing a channel like this, trying to out a company, or just being like a journalist. And look, I'm not here like being like, oh, everybody does it, it's some crazy conspiracy. Even at most, if people are lying, I doubt it's so much lower than most people think. Like, you would know what fucking 10%, 5% weed looks like. It generally doesn't look as, like, it just looks worse. You know what I mean? It's just not as good flower. It's not as strong. You're pretty much smoking damn near CBD at that point. So, like, it's not, like I'm saying, every company's lying, but do I think that most companies actually inflate their numbers? 100%. I would actually go out on a limb and say that is true. Just even if it's by a couple percent, because a lot of people love these 30%, whatever. And even when it comes to the pens as well, man. Like, people are wanting these fucking 99%, these 98%, like, pens, and it's like, okay, bro. I get where you're coming from, but definitely don't believe everything that you see. If it seems too good to be true, one of the best websites that have been around, that have been for the community forever, which I believe, is Leafly. They will show you many different strains from different growers, from different whatever, to make sure it's all kind of the same percentage. You know what I mean? Like, they will give you different websites for the same strain. And if all of those come back like the same percentage, or if you go on many websites and it's the same percent, then yeah, you're probably good. You know what I mean? Let's say you get, I don't know, like White Widow or something, right? And the website's telling you it's like 36%, but you go on like 5 other websites and it's saying it's like 28. You know what I'm saying? That person's probably just inflating the numbers a little bit, or they possibly got one of the best batches ever and are just using that as well. And some people might do that as well. They might use the same testing sheet that has the best percentage numbers and just use it for a whole pound when really it was only like an ounce. So of course there are just a lot of in-betweens with this stuff. As per usual, I'm always here to just tell you to be careful, man. You just never know. Don't always believe everything you see, because I used to be young and I used to be like, oh man, percentage is everything, and if I'm not getting fucking 30%, I'm fucking smoking trash and all that dumb ignorant stuff. And it's just like, that's just not how this is. That's just not how this works. That's not how the plant works. Percentage doesn't matter. It never really mattered, bro. Even when I was young with the homies thinking I'm smoking the best felt like really, you know, not the best next week from, you know, a shitty dealer or something like that. So it's like, really, it's not that big of a deal, but just don't over-believe the hype, and just maybe always check on other websites or whatever. Shout out to JK Distro. Shout out to you guys. If you enjoyed this video, or the N-Bump, you can send your own to chillydillyendbumps at gmail. Much love. I might start standing up for videos. I'm kind of fucking with it.